It's time for the Daily Stand Up Podcast presented by AgileDad with your host, Lee Henson. Without any further ado, let's get started. It's time for our Friday Agile, Not So Agile episode of the Daily Stand Up Podcast. And today, I don't want to get too Debbie Downer, but I do want to talk about something that recently happened in the Scrum trainers community. And even though this is Agile, it's not going to be Agile. So let me explain. A very dear friend and companion, well, I wouldn't say companion, but more companion trainer by the name of Bob Sarney recently passed away from cancer. And I know that death is an inevitable part of life, but at the same time, it made me curious about how people come and go in this world and what it means when you lose someone that is a friend or someone who's from a small group of individuals who you feel like you have a relationship with, even though it may not be best friend status, someone that you feel like you're established and close to. But it's good to know that if we have faith and if we have a spiritual grounding, that we are all made in a perfect design. And even though many of us go through life struggles and we might not understand exactly why, every single person has a predestined opportunity to make a difference in the world and to pass on from this life and to live eternally in whatever glory they find to be part of their faith. Now, as I was going through my thoughts and reading about what everyone else had to say about how amazing of a person Bob was, which I definitely agree, how he was always giving, and whether he was doing this on his own or whether he was, doing this for a company, he touched a lot of lives. And the more I thought about that, the more I thought about, am I leaving the impact that I want to leave on other people? And am I being the absolute best person that I can? And am I doing all that I can, whether it's for the Agile community, the community as a whole? And I find that sometimes the best people often get judged or mistreated or abused or taken advantage of, or their life isn't always dealt the best set of cards. They struggle with things like heartbreak or cancer or whatever the case may be. And it's not because they did anything wrong. It's usually because they were doing so much right that it was time for them to be called home again. There's a beautiful song that's out right now called What Was I Made For? And it's by Billie Eilish. And typically I wouldn't use lyrics from a Billie Eilish song to describe my feelings. But I think she said this so eloquently. The lyrics are short. It's not a very long song when it comes to the lyrical composure. But it starts out, I used to float, now I just fall down. I used to know, but I am not sure now. What was I made for? What was I made for? Taking a drive, I was an ideal. Look so alive, turns out I'm not real. Just something you paid for. What was I made for? Because I don't know how to feel, but I want to try. I don't know how to feel, but someday I might. Someday I might. When did it end? All the enjoyment. I'm sad again. Don't tell my boyfriend. It's not what he's made for. What was I made for? Because I don't know how to feel, but I want to try. I don't know how to feel, but someday I might. Someday I might. Think I forgot how to be happy. Something I'm not, but something I can be. Something I wait for. Something I'm made for. Something I'm made for. I don't know that Billy could have written a more perfect song. The description of going through life and going through our journey and figuring out what were we made for and how we operate and what we do. And the phases of enjoyment and being sad and the phases of forgetting how to be happy sometimes and having to reinvent and figure out who we are and to figure out what we're made for. And I assure you that as I think of my friend Bob and his journey beyond this life, and as I think of our lives here, I think that it's high time that we stop being so torn apart by society and we stop, figuring out what we're doing and why we're doing it. And we take a moment just to rewind, refresh, and to ask ourselves, what was I made for? Have we discovered what we were made for? Have we taken the journey in the best way we could? Have we lifted someone else in a time of need? Have we extended ourselves to others? And I encourage you, if you know Bob, to share a thoughtful memory in the comments about something that he did to touch your life. And also, if you want to share one thing in the comments that you feel like you were made for, that would be a very powerful tool for others who are on this journey, who are just trying to figure things out. That's going to do it for today. I hope you have an amazing weekend. And until next time, I encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Do take care.